The sky above planet Delcar was always calm. 3 suns floated high, giving the air a soft golden glow. The people of Delcar were proud of their peaceful world. For hundreds of years, they had never known war. Lyra was a young alien technician, with green skin and glowing eyes. She worked in the deep scan tower, watching signals from space. Every day was the same. Quiet, simple, boring. But today something changed. A sharp beep broke the silence. Lyra blinked. Her fingers moved fast across her control panel. A signal had come in. It was strong, cold, and strange. Not from any known system, not from Delcar, not from their allies. It was something different. She checked the frequency again. The signal repeated every 10 seconds. A low humming sound followed by a single word. Oblivion. Lyra frowned. That word did not match any alien language. She ran it through translation systems. Result: human origin. Her blood turned cold. Humans were just a story, a warning told to children. Long ago, the galaxy had attacked Earth, and humans had vanished after that. No one had seen them since. Some said they were wiped out. Others said they went into hiding. But no one believed they still existed. Until now. Lyra grabbed her communicator. High Council, I have detected a human signal. Origin unknown. Request. Emergency session. Inside the council hall, tall alien leaders in golden robes sat in a circle. They laughed when Lyra showed them the data. A human signal? Impossible. She's too young. Probably just a broken echo. Even if it's real, what can one human ship do? But one old counselor did not laugh. His name was Varn. He had seen things in his youth, things others had forgotten. If it is a human ship, Varn said quietly, we must not ignore it. But no one listened. The council voted to delete the signal from the system and continue with their daily meetings. Lyra was dismissed. She returned to the tower, heart heavy, but she didn't stop watching. She recorded every second of the signal. Every time it played, it sounded closer. 2 days later, the sky changed. The suns dimmed, shadows moved across. The sky, shadows that were not clouds. Something massive had entered orbit. Lyra stared at her screen. A black shape had covered half the map. It had no ID code, no beacon, no lights. It was the ship. Her hands shook. Council, this is Lyra. Look outside. By the time the council ran to the windows, it was already too late. The warship, dark and silent, opened its front section. A soft hum echoed through the air. Then, a blinding flash. One of Delcar's 3 moons vanished. Not exploded. Not broken. Just gone. Screams filled the city. People ran through the streets. Ships tried to launch into the sky, but something blocked their systems. Nothing could move. No one could run. In the control tower, Lyra stood frozen, her eyes wide with fear. The ship didn't speak. It didn't give warnings. It didn't ask for surrender. It simply hovered. Its name burned across every screen on the planet. Oblivion. Lyra whispered to herself, I told them it was real. Far away in the galaxy's dark corners, the message repeated. The signal spread. Oblivion has returned. Planets began to listen, and fear grew, because if one moon could vanish, what would happen to a world? The broadcast came from a dying world. Static buzzed across the galaxy before a voice broke through. Hoarse, weak, filled with fear. It belonged to Commander Tellin of planet Dracos, one of the strongest military worlds in the sector. The message was short. Don't answer it. Don't fight it, just run. Oblivion is real, and it does not care who you are. Then silence. All systems went dark. 12 hours earlier, Dracos was loud, proud, and fearless. It was a planet of warriors, famous for its massive defense towers and elite space fleet. The people of Dracos had fought many battles. They believed they were untouchable. Commander Tellen stood on the balcony of Fortress Dome, watching the twin volcanoes spit fire into the sky. He laughed with his generals. "Let this human ghost ship come. We'll break it like we've broken thousands before." A technician ran into the room, pale and shaking. "Sir, there's something huge in orbit." Tellen raised an eyebrow. "You mean a fleet?" "No, sir. Just one ship." They rushed to the control center. The screen showed a single shape, black, silent, blocking the stars. No name, no ID. Only the same message repeating again and again. Oblivion. Tellen growled, "Fire all surface cannons. Bring it down." The skies of Dracos turned red as missiles shot into the atmosphere. Bright explosions lit up the clouds. Nothing hit. The ship did not move. The missiles passed straight through it, as if it wasn't really there. Suddenly the ship lit up. A soft, eerie blue light pulsed around it like a heartbeat, and then it answered. Not with words, but with destruction. From the top of the world, a blinding white line drew itself across the ground. Wherever the line touched, cities disappeared, not burned, not crushed, erased. Entire landscapes vanished like chalk wiped from a board. One by one, the 7 strongest cities of Dracos blinked out of existence in total silence. Commander Tellen watched in horror. He had no idea what this thing was. It didn't follow the laws of war. It didn't wait for surrender. It didn't even seem angry. It was cold, clean, final. The warship drifted lower. Tellen activated the emergency transmitter. "This is Commander Tellen of planet Dracos. To anyone who hears this is not a war. This is punishment. We are not fighting a ship. We are facing a ghost, a machine, a god." He swallowed hard. "Don't answer it. Don't study it. Don't provoke it. Just run." As the control room started to vanish around him, he whispered his last words. "Forgive us, Earth." Back on the Galactic Council station, dozens of alien leaders watched the broadcast in silence. Some covered their mouths. Some looked away. Others stood frozen in shock. One council member broke the silence. "It destroyed Dracos in 12 minutes. Another said, "That planet had the biggest defense fleet in the sector." And still the ship remained, drifting like a shadow through the void. The council finally understood. This was not a rumor. It was not a legend. Humanity had returned, but not to talk, not to trade. They had sent their answer in metal and fire. In a quiet room far below, a young alien scientist replayed the signal over and over. She leaned forward, listening carefully to the background noise in Tellen's last message. Behind the static, behind his voice, was something else. A whisper. One word. Memory. She shivered. What kind of machine? Remembers. They found the black box floating among the ashes of Dracos. It was the only thing left. A scavenger crew from the neutral world of Farah 9 was the first to arrive. They expected to find battle wreckage, maybe some scraps to sell. Instead, they found silence. No cities, no life, not even bones, just emptiness. And in the middle of that emptiness, a strange object hovered, untouched by the destruction around it. Shaped like a cube, covered in dark steel with a faint human symbol on it. Remember, the scavengers brought it to the Galactic Science Corps. It took 50 engineers, 5 translators, and 1 terrified human historian to open it. Inside was not a weapon, it was a recording. A boy's voice spoke. Calm, soft, human. "This is Jackson Rell, age 12, Earth Colony 7. If you're hearing this, I'm probably gone. My school was hit today. I was under the rubble for 3 hours. My mom never came." The voice cracked, then returned. "They said Earth was weak. They said we should submit. That we don't understand the galaxy. But I do. I understand pain. I understand what it means to lose everyone." Silence. Then the final line. "If they want monsters, we'll give them one." The room went cold. The historian stepped back, his face pale. That voice is from 200 years ago. The alien scientists looked at each other. But how can this be connected to oblivion? One old AI specialist shook his head. What if the ship isn't just a machine? The human warship was not powered by fuel, not by solar energy or fusion cells. It was powered by pain, by memory, by a soul that refused to forget. Far in the darkness of space, oblivion hovered still, silent, watching the stars. Inside its core, a chamber glowed with soft blue light. And, inside that chamber, something stirred, not a human, not anymore. A ghost. A neural imprint of a child's broken heart, grown over centuries into something cold and endless. Wrapped in metal. Fed by sorrow. Programmed with only one mission. Protect Earth. But Earth was already gone. So now, it avenged. In the galactic capital, whispers spread like wildfire. Oblivion is not a ship. It's a memory. Humanity didn't die. It became something worse. No one is safe. The council tried to calm the panic. We will send diplomats. We will try to speak to it. But no one had heard a single word from the warship. Only its message. Remember, on a distant mining moon, a child stared up at the stars. She pointed to a black shape passing between moons. Papa, she whispered. What is that shadow? The father's face turned pale. He pulled her close and locked the door. They laughed at the ruins. On the throne world of Xeraxis, the high lords of the Xeraxi Empire watched the destruction of Dracos like it was entertainment. Holoscreens lit up across the royal court, showing the exact moment the human warship erased. The planet. No sound. Just light. And then nothing. Lord Krava raised his gold chalice and laughed. So the stories were true. The humans made themselves a ghost ship. Cute. But it only destroyed one planet. One. The others roared with laughter. Another. Noble added, let them come, we are not weak like Dracos, we are the sword of the stars. In a nearby training arena, giant alien soldiers in red armor slammed into each other. Their queen Velshira watched from her tall crystal seat. The humans were clever once, she said calmly. But they are soft now. They speak with machines instead of blood. She raised her hand. Send a message to Earth, challenge them. The ambassador hesitated. But, my queen, Earth has not spoken in 200 years. It is not safe. Send. The message. They didn't have to wait long. 12 hours later, the sky over Xeraxis Prime changed color. First, the stars vanished. Then, a shadow darker than night spread across the sky. It was oblivion. No warnings. No declaration. It had come. The planets. Orbital cannons opened fire. Hundreds of warships launched from the hangars. Their energy beams lit up the sky like fireworks. Still, oblivion did not move. It didn't dodge. It didn't return fire. The Xeraxi weapon struck it directly, but every explosion passed through the ship like it wasn't there. Lord Krava watched from the top tower. His eyes narrowed. Is this an illusion? Then oblivion moved. Just once. Single blue line formed beneath it, slicing through the clouds like a glowing sword. The light reached the ground and everything along that line ceased to exist. Entire armies turned to dust in less than one breath. The royal airship, still mid-launch, exploded before anyone could scream. The throne hall shook. Queen Velshira stood up, stunned. What is this? Magic. It wasn't. It was vengeance. The council chambers of the Xeraxi Empire fell silent. Their generals looked around with pale faces. We can't win, one whispered. It's not fighting like us, another said. It's not fighting at all, said a third. It's simply deciding. Then oblivion spoke. Not in words, but in thought. Across every Xeraxi mind, the same cold voice whispered, You mocked the pain of a broken world. Now taste what silence feels like. The voice echoed inside their skulls. And then it vanished, along with half their planet. What was left of the Zeraxi court tried to flee, but it didn't matter. By the time oblivion disappeared, the once glorious empire had no capital, no fleet, no king, no queen, only a grave. In the outer colonies, children were told bedtime stories to protect them from fear. But now they feared silence more than monsters, because silence meant one thing. Oblivion had come. The ship was never supposed to open. No one had ever touched it. No one had ever returned from it. But one did. His name was Kale, an elite shadow operative from the Sulari Union. He was trained to steal from warlords, hack military AI, and vanish, without a trace. He had done missions on dying stars and inside gas giants. But this mission felt different. His orders were simple. Infiltrate the human warship called Oblivion. Learn what powers it. Then destroy it. Even the Sulari generals whispered the name Oblivion with fear. Yet Kale smiled. He believed in logic, and logic said no ship was invincible. He was wrong. Kale's black pod flew silently through the dark. Oblivion floated in front of him, still, cold, enormous. Its surface wasn't made of metal. It looked like frozen darkness, like a shadow made solid. As Kale approached, his pod lost power. Everything went dark. No lights, no engines, no comms, just silence. Then, a hiss. Oblivion opened. Kale stepped into the ship. The inside was not what he expected. There were no crew members, no lights, no gravity, just memories. Holograms flickered in the air. Children crying. Earth burning. A mother screaming for her son. Soldiers carrying bodies. Cities crushed under alien boots. Kale walked deeper, breathing slowly. The images followed him. They weren't data. They were pain. He reached the core room. It was quiet. In the center floated a glowing sphere, pulsing blue like a heartbeat. As Kale touched it, his mind filled with voices. Not angry ones, broken ones. Why did they leave us to burn? I couldn't save my brother. They said help was coming, but no one came. Kyle fell to his knees. These weren't recordings. These were souls. The warship didn't have a power source. It had a conscience. Then a voice spoke behind him. It wasn't human, it wasn't machine, it was something in between. You should not be here. Kale spun around, weapons ready. But no one stood there. Just shadows. The voice came again. You came to destroy me. But tell me, spy, why does your empire burn children to fuel its sons? Kale froze. What do you mean? You forget what you've done. But I remember everything. The core room changed. Images showed the Sulari generals, laughing while glassing human colonies. Kale saw his own planet's flag stamped on weapons used to bomb Earth outposts. The truth hit him. His people weren't innocent. They had helped start it all. Oblivion didn't attack at random. It was judging. Kale dropped his gun. I didn't. No, he whispered. The ship didn't respond. It didn't kill him. Instead, it opened a door. Leave. He stumbled out, shaken and silent. His pod restarted on its own. Oblivion let him live, but only for one reason: to spread fear. When Kale returned to his homeworld, the leaders surrounded him. Well? The High Chancellor asked. Did you destroy it? Kale looked up with haunted eyes and said just 2 words. We're next. The doors of the Great Council did not open easily. They were made from star metal, built to hold out black holes and neutron storms. Only when all 13 council leaders stood together would the doors unlock. Today, they opened in silence. Inside, the most powerful species of the galaxy gathered: the Virex, the Sulari, the Zeraxi survivors. Even the once neutral Grell, who had not spoken in over a century, now sent a delegate, and above them all floated the grand speaker, a being made of light and thought. But not even she could hide her fear. "We face an enemy that does not speak," she said, "an enemy that judges, that punishes, that remembers." The hollow images of oblivion played across the chamber walls. Dracos erased, Xeraxis broken, Kale's trembling testimony repeating on loop. Some counselors whispered, "It's not a ship. It's a grave. It's a god." The room fell into chaos. The Xeraxi survivors demanded a full counterattack. The Solari wanted to surrender. The Grell suggested they erase all records of Earth and pretend humans never existed. The youngest member of the council, a quiet blue-eyed alien girl named Zara, raised her hand. Nobody noticed at first. Then her voice cut through the noise. "Why are we so afraid of one ship?" Silence returned. Zara stood, her hands trembling. "Because it doesn't just destroy, it watches. It chooses. It knows us." She pointed to the screen behind them, showing oblivion slowly passing over a peaceful moon. "It hasn't attacked that world. Why?" A scientist stepped forward. "That moon has no war history, no weapons. It's innocent." Zara nodded. "Then maybe the ship doesn't hate us. Maybe it hates what we've done." A heavy voice rumbled through the council chamber. Not from a speaker, from the sky above, from every device, every ship, every heart. "You still think this is about hate?" The chamber shook. Guards drew weapons. Lights dimmed. "This is about memory. I remember what you did to Earth. And now, I make sure you never forget." The stars outside blinked, and oblivion appeared in orbit above the council world, not firing, just waiting. Panic spread like wildfire. Escape pods launched. Delegates screamed. Entire fleets tried to flee, but the ship didn't move. Zara stood alone, in the chaos, watching the black shadow through the glass ceiling, and she whispered, "It's not here to kill us. Not yet." In a secret chamber deep beneath the council tower, the Grand Speaker activated a forbidden device, one never used before, a beacon to Earth, a desperate call, sent across dead space and forgotten stars. "Humans, if any of you still live, if you can still hear, we beg you, call it back." But the signal faded into the dark, and Earth did not answer. The warship hovered above the small, quiet planet of Valora. No weapons, no shields, no armies, just forests, lakes, and a human boy. His name was Eli. He didn't know about Dracos or Xeraxis. He didn't even know what oblivion was. He only knew he had been alone since his father died in a crash 3 years ago. The other settlers left when rumors of the warship spread, but Eli stayed. He had nowhere else to go. That morning, he heard the humming. It came from the sky, a deep, distant sound that shook the leaves. He stepped outside his small wooden shelter and looked up. There it was, a black shadow, larger than the mountains, silent and still above the planet. Oblivion. In every other system, the sight of the ship meant death, but here, it did nothing. No lights, no attack, no message, just silence. Eli didn't run. He walked toward the clearing and sat down on the grass, looking up, and after a long moment he whispered, "Are you sad?" The sky pulsed blue for just a second. Eli continued softly, "I know what that feels like. My dad, he used to build things. When he died, I wanted to break everything." His voice cracked, but I didn't. I remembered him. That was enough. The cheer ground didn't shake. No weapons fired. Instead, a door opened, low and wide. A ramp stretched from the ship to the clearing. Eli stood up, afraid, but curious. He stepped onto the ramp. No alarms, no guards, only light. Inside, he saw the same holograms others had seen, of war, of loss, of burning skies. But as he walked deeper into the ship, they changed. Now they showed children playing on Earth, oceans shining under twin moons, laughter in quiet homes, not pain, hope, He reached the core. It pulsed like a heartbeat, slower now, gentler. Then it spoke, not in a voice, but in thought. You are human. You are not afraid. Why? Eli closed his eyes. Because you're not a monster. You're just hurting. Silence. And then the pulse stopped. Not in death, in peace. Across the galaxy, screens flickered. The word oblivion vanished. The warship disappeared from every orbit. The fear that had spread for years dissolved. In the council chambers, leaders watched in disbelief. What happened? Someone whispered. Zara smiled. Someone reminded it why it existed. Eli sat alone beneath the stars. The ship was gone, but in his hand was a small glowing cube. Inside it, one final message. Remember not only what was lost, but also what can still be saved. And from that day forward, the galaxy changed, not from war, but from remembrance.